It's a little bit like a family. My brother and I went through a pretty tense time in our lives too. But your brother's still your brother.
Oh, yeah.
Your sister.
For many decades, Bill Gaither has been one of the most beloved names in gospel music. Alongside his wife, Gloria Gaither, he created a powerful ministry that touched hearts across the world. With beautiful songs full of faith and hope, the Gaithers built something more than just music. They built a family for millions of listeners. However, recently, a wave of sadness has swept through that family. Bill Gaither's health has taken a serious turn, and for the first time, fans are seeing signs that their favorite gospel legend may be stepping away from the spotlight for good. The news has brought deep emotion, especially after a heartfelt public appearance that left many in tears, including his wife, Gloria. At an age where most people would have already retired, Bill continued to perform, write songs, and guide the Gaither vocal band. But as time caught up with him, his energy started to fade. Fans noticed his absence from live events, his quietness on television, and the lack of new public projects. Slowly, whispers turned into real concerns. Was Bill Gaither preparing to say goodbye? Would the Gaither ministry ever be the same without him leading the way? People close to the family began to confirm what many feared: Bill was going through health struggles, and it was finally time for him to rest. No one was fully prepared for what came next. At a special event filled with loyal fans, Bill Gaither walked onto the stage for what would be one of the most emotional moments in gospel music history. His steps were slower, his presence softer, but his voice, though trembling, still carried the weight of love, history, and faith. As he looked across the room, you could feel the silence. Everyone knew something important was about to happen. And then, he began to speak. "I stand here not as the man I used to be," he said, "but as someone who has lived a full life. Thankful for every moment, every song, and every one of you." The words brought tears to many eyes. Some gasped. Others grabbed the hands of loved ones. And as he continued, the news everyone had feared became clear: Bill Gaither was retiring from his role in the Gaither vocal band. After over 50 years of spreading God's message through song, he was ready to pass the torch. "Today," he said, "I announce the end of my active career with the Gaither vocal band." It was a moment filled with both sorrow and gratitude. Fans weren't just saying goodbye to a performer, they were saying goodbye to a man whose music had helped them through some of the hardest and happiest times in their lives. What made this farewell so emotional wasn't just that Bill was leaving the stage. It was the deep connection fans felt to him and his music. For generations, Bill and Gloria Gaither's songs have played at weddings, funerals, Sunday morning services, and quiet nights at home. Their lyrics, full of truth, light, and comfort, had become part of the fabric of Christian life. Songs like "Because He Lives" and "He Touched Me" gave hope to millions, and those songs weren't just written, they were lived by the man who sang them. Bill wasn't just a performer, he was a teacher, a pastor in his own way, and a friend to everyone who ever heard his voice. Even as he grew older and slowed down, his impact only grew stronger. Churches still sang his songs. Choirs performed his arrangements. Entire generations of gospel artists credit him for starting their careers. That's why this announcement felt so personal. For many fans, Bill Gaither wasn't just a singer, he was a spiritual guide, a source of comfort, and a constant presence in their faith journey. One of the most touching parts of Bill's announcement was the presence of his wife, Gloria Gaither. Gloria has been more than just a partner in marriage, she has been a creative partner, co-writer, and the emotional heart of the Gaither ministry. Standing beside her husband as he made the announcement, Gloria's quiet strength spoke volumes. She didn't need to say anything, the love in her eyes and the way she held Bill's hand said it all. She had walked beside him through every stage of his journey, and she would be there for this chapter too. For Gloria, this moment was likely full of mixed emotions. On one hand, she understood the need for Bill to rest. She had seen the toll that decades of travel, performing, and ministry had taken on him. His health had been declining slowly, and she had been his closest witness and support. But on the other hand, she knew how much this ministry meant to him, and how much he meant to the world. Letting go wasn't easy, even for someone as faithful and wise as Gloria. Her quiet tears during the announcement touched many fans and reminded them that behind the music, there was a real couple with real emotions. As the applause faded and the emotions settled, Bill Gaither introduced the next chapter in the ministry's future, his son, John Gaither. For years, John had been working behind the scenes, learning, performing, and preparing for this moment. Bill expressed his full confidence in his son, saying, "John has the heart, the vision, and the strength to lead this ministry forward." The announcement received a warm, if bittersweet, response from the audience. Some fans were unsure what to expect from the younger Gaither, but others trusted that Bill would not have passed the baton if he didn't truly believe in John's ability. John Gaither stepping into this role is more than just a family transition, it's a symbol of continuity and faith in the next generation. Bill made it clear that while he was retiring from performing, he wasn't disappearing. "I'll still be around," he said. "Offering guidance, support, and love as always." That promise gave fans some peace. Knowing that the legacy would be protected, that the message would stay the same, helped ease the pain of goodbye. And with Gloria still by John's side, the spirit of the original ministry would live on, even as the faces on stage changed. As Bill Gaither finished his speech, the room filled with applause. Fans stood and clapped, many with tears in their eyes. It wasn't just a goodbye, it was a celebration of a life lived with purpose, a voice that had changed the world, and a heart that had given everything to ministry. Bill looked out over the crowd one last time and said, "This isn't goodbye. It's just the start of a new chapter." And with that, he stepped back, letting John take the spotlight. The curtain closed, but the impact of that moment would stay with everyone who witnessed it. For many, the announcement marked the end of an era. Bill Gaither had been a rock in their lives, a voice of hope during dark times. Losing that presence on stage felt like losing a part of themselves. But the truth is, Bill Gaither's presence will never really be gone. His songs will continue to be sung. His message will continue to inspire. And his family will carry on the ministry he built from nothing. As long as the Gaither vocal band performs, as long as people sing because he lives, a part of Bill Gaither will always remain. Even after stepping away from public performances, Bill Gaither's influence remains powerful. The songs he created with Gloria will continue to speak to new generations. His son John may be the one leading now, but the foundation Bill laid is strong and lasting. This moment, his emotional farewell, reminds us that real legacy isn't just about what you do. It's about the love you give, the people you touch, and the faith you share. Bill Gaither gave all of that and more. That's why, even in retirement, he's still leading, in spirit, in memory, and in music. And as fans look back on his incredible journey, they will remember the music, the ministry, and the man. They will remember how Bill and Gloria stood together on stage for years, singing songs that lifted broken hearts. They will remember the kindness in Bill's voice, the wisdom in his words, and the honesty in his faith. Most of all, they will remember the love. Love for God. Love for family. Love for people. That is the true legacy of Bill Gaither, and that is something no retirement can ever take away. After the announcement of Bill Gaither's retirement, fans around the world responded with an outpouring of emotion. Social media platforms were filled with messages of love, support, and gratitude. From small-town churches in the United States to worship gatherings in Africa and South America, people shared how Bill's music had changed their lives. One fan wrote, "I found Jesus listening to a Gaither song. I don't know how to say goodbye to the voice that helped me find faith." Another posted, "I played He Touched Me at my mother's funeral." Bill Gaither's music gave us peace during our hardest times. For many people, Bill Gaither was more than a musician, he was a part of their personal journey with God. His songs were played during hospital visits, lonely nights, family celebrations, and every Sunday morning. It wasn't just about the music, it was the spirit behind it. His faith, sincerity, and message of hope made people feel understood. That's why the announcement hit so hard. Even those who knew it was coming were still not emotionally prepared. When someone has walked beside you for decades, even through a screen or a song, it feels like losing a dear friend. Yet, even in sadness, there was deep respect. Fans admired Bill's honesty, his willingness to step back with grace, and his faith in the next generation. They appreciated that he wasn't clinging to fame, but rather making room for others to rise and grow. That's rare in today's world, and it's part of what makes his story so meaningful. His goodbye wasn't just about leaving the stage. It was about trusting God's plan for what comes next. While Bill Gaither stood at the center of the stage during the announcement, Gloria Gaither stood by him quietly, just as she always has. But anyone who knows their story understands that Gloria has been the soul of the ministry all along. A brilliant songwriter, teacher, and speaker in her own right, Gloria has written many of the most powerful Gaither songs. She poured her heart into lyrics that spoke of grace, redemption, and joy. Her faith has been a steady light behind Bill's voice, guiding the emotional message of their music. Gloria's quiet strength during this transition has deeply moved fans. Her eyes during Bill's speech told a story of love, loyalty, and long-lasting partnership. She knew this day would come. She had prayed for Bill's strength for many years, seen him work through sickness, and watched the weight of leadership press heavily on his shoulders. Through it all, she remained his greatest supporter. In many ways, her calm presence at this moment was just as powerful as Bill's words. Even after Bill's retirement, Gloria is expected to continue mentoring young artists and shaping the ministry from behind the scenes. Many fans hope she will write a book or even share more about their journey together. Gloria represents the spiritual backbone of the Gaither legacy. With her insight, strength, and grace, she'll ensure the message of their ministry remains focused, humble, and grounded in God's truth. While the retirement moment was deeply personal, it also marked a global moment in Christian music. The Gaither Vocal Band and Homecoming series have reached people far beyond the United States. Concerts have sold out in Canada, Europe, Australia, and even in remote parts of the world where access to gospel music is limited. Through TV specials, DVDs, and digital platforms, the Gaithers have become a global symbol of worship and community. Church choirs in countries like India, Nigeria, and Brazil sing Gaither songs as part of their Sunday services. Missionaries bring his music with them as tools of comfort and joy. Hospitals and prisons have played his songs to lift spirits. Christian radio stations around the world continue to broadcast their timeless tracks. In this way, the Gaither legacy isn't tied to one person, one country, or even one generation. It is woven into the global language of faith. Now, with John Gaither leading the next chapter, there is hope that this international influence will continue to grow. New voices will emerge. New songs will be written. But the foundation, built by Bill and Gloria, will never change. It's built on faith, family, love, and the power of music to bring healing. As the Gaither family turns the page on this new chapter, many wonder what the future of gospel music will look like without Bill Gaither actively leading the way. It's a fair question. For over 5 decades, Bill was the heart of a movement that combined traditional gospel with modern storytelling and deep emotion. His leadership style, full of warmth and humility, brought together some of the greatest voices in Christian music. Now, that responsibility will rest with his son, John Gaither, and the team he builds. John understands the size of the shoes he must now fill. He grew up around the music, the ministry, and the mission. He's watched his father and mother pour their hearts into every performance, every decision, and every outreach effort. Now, with his father's blessing, he's stepping forward, not to replace, but to honor and continue. Fans hope that John will bring his own style and voice while keeping the heart of the ministry the same. And with Gloria still present as a guiding force, there's a sense that the original spirit will never be lost. As the curtain closes on Bill Gaither's era, it opens for a new one. But through every note sung, every song played, and every story told, his influence will remain. What Bill and Gloria Gaither built is not just a ministry, it's a movement of love, faith, and worship that has reached across generations and continents. And though Bill may no longer stand center stage, his voice, his message, and his legacy will echo in the lives of those he touched for many years to come. This is not the end. It's a beautiful continuation of a story that started with 2 hearts full of faith, and changed the world through music.